Hi, and welcome to the mechanics of FSM treatment, or how to treat yourself with Inspirstar and/or custom care frequency specific microcurrent devices. This is Dr. Harlan Mateg. There are two manufacturers of frequency specific microcurrent units in the United States. On the bottom and to the left are three different models of FSM units from Inspirstar, one of the manufacturers. They differ in terms of the amount of memory they have or the number of programs that they can hold, and in some other ways as well. You can learn more about the features of the different Inspirstar units at my website, frequencymicrocurrent.com, and in other videos. On the top right is the Custom Care FSM unit from Precision Distributing. Precision Distributing also makes other FSM units that are designed exclusively for use by clinicians treating patients. It's important to note that all of these FSM units, the ones shown here and the others made for clinicians, they all put out the same microcurrent frequencies. In other words, there is no compromise in the quality or accuracy of the microcurrent frequencies with the different FSM devices. Let's start by reviewing what is actually happening when you are treating yourself with FSM. I've talked about resonance and the ability of different frequencies to target and affect changes in different tissues, organs, or organ systems. On the slide, you see a list of frequency pairs that make up an FSM treatment for acne. In frequency-specific microcurrent, a series of frequency pairs that make up a treatment is called a protocol. So this is the protocol for the treatment of acne. In the third and fourth columns, you see frequency 1 and frequency 2. These are the two different frequencies that are running for that step of the protocol. Each row specifies the parameters of the microcurrent that is coming out of the machine at that point in the protocol. The first row specifies that the frequencies 40 Hz and 355 Hz will run for a duration of 2 minutes with a current intensity of 100 microamps and with a sharp waveform of alternating current. All of this information makes sense and has meaning for FSM practitioners and clinicians, but you don't need to know these specifics. What I'd like you to appreciate is that the FSM device will automatically run these different frequencies pairs as specified, one after another, for the duration of the protocol. If you've ever had to jumpstart your car using cables, you know that it can be confusing. Let's take the confusion out of electrode placement when treating yourself with FSM. When treating a specific area like an elbow that is painful or inflamed from an injury, we want to drive the microcurrent through the inflamed area. For an elbow joint like this means sending the current through the joint. If you were to put the pads right next to each other on the skin, the current tends to just travel through the skin and not go very deep. In other words, it wouldn't go through the joint. So in this case, you would place two of the electrodes on the inside of the elbow and the other two electrodes on the outside of the elbow. With FSM, you are running two currents at the same time. This requires 4 pads. 2 of the pads run one current, and the other 2 pads run the other current. To make it even more complicated, you want to place the pads so that the currents cross each other. I'll use other slides to explain this. This is the Inspirstar Pro FSM unit. You can see that there are 2 plugs into the machine on the top of the machine. One of the plugs is red and the other is dark blue. Each plug becomes 2 wires. The 4 wires together connect to 4 electrodes. In this case, we're using adhesive electrodes. In order to explain this, I'll call these electrodes number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. If you look at electrode number 1, you see that it is connected to a red lead pin. Number 2 is connected to a yellow lead pin. Number 3 is connected to a green lead pin. And number 4 is connected to a dark blue lead pin. When the machine is on, the current flows between electrode number 1 and electrode number 4, and between electrode number 2 and electrode number 3. The reason that you want to know this is that when you place the pads on your body, say on a painful knee or elbow, you want to place the pads so that the two currents are crossing each other as they travel through the joint. The result is that the current goes deep into the joint and the two different currents are crossing within the body. The rule then for Inspirstar units is that you place the red and yellow electrodes on one side and the green and blue electrodes on the other side. And you make a cross with the red and blue as one line and the yellow and green as the other line. You'll notice that I said the rule for the Inspirstar units. That's because the color coding of the leads for Inspirstar units is different from the color coding for the Precision Distributing Custom Care unit. For now, I'm going to continue to use the Inspirstar colors to explain things, and a little later I'll show you how the Custom Care is different. If you want to treat your whole body with an FSM protocol, you could place one set of electrodes on the back of your neck and the other set on your ankles. That is what is illustrated in the slide for number 1, full body. It may be hard to see on the slide, but the red lead on the back of the neck is on the left side of the neck, while the blue lead is on the right ankle. And the yellow lead is on the right side of the back of the neck, while the green lead is on the left ankle. This means that the two currents are crossing as they go through the body. Number 2 on the slide is the pad placement that you might use if you were treating your legs. The red and yellow leads are on the bottom of the left foot, while the blue and green leads are on the bottom of the right foot. This would cause the current to run up and down both legs through the pelvis. You can also use damp towels as electrodes. In the figures on the slide, you see a towel behind the neck and another towel on the abdomen. This type of towel placement is good for all of the visceral treatments, meaning treatments of the organs and organ systems. This is also a good electrode placement for the concussion protocol and the vagus nerve protocol. You would connect alligator clips to each of the 4 leads and then clip the leads to the damp towels. When you are using damp towels, you use one towel for 2 leads. So for Inspirstar devices, you would connect the red and yellow leads to one towel and the blue and green leads to the other towel. On the slide, you see the blue and green leads connected to the towel at the back of the neck and the red and yellow leads connected to the towel on the abdomen. As I said on a previous slide, the color coding of the Inspirstar leads is different from the Custom Care leads. I'll show you once again how to set up the leads for the Inspirstar as a refresher, and then I'll show you how to set up the leads for the Custom Care. If you have a Custom Care, ignore the rest of this slide and go on to the next slide. For the Inspirstar, the first thing you notice is that with Inspirstar leads, that the red and yellow are on one side and the blue and green are on the other side. Once you have the leads on the side you want, then you think about crossing the currents. With Inspirstar leads, the red lead crosses to the blue lead and the yellow lead crosses to the green lead. Another way of saying it is that the red and blue leads are one current, while the yellow and green leads are another current. And because you want the currents to cross, you set it up with the red crossing to blue and yellow crossing to green. For Custom Care leads, the green and red leads are positive and the black and yellow leads are negative. This means that the yellow and black leads go on one side, while the red and green leads go on the other side. Dr. McMakin has a mnemonic for this to help people remember. It's bumblebee on one side and Christmas tree on the other side. The black and yellow leads go together like the colors of a bumblebee, And the red and green leads go together like the colors of a Christmas tree with red lights on it. The two circuits of microcurrent are between the black and red and the yellow and green. So black crosses to red and yellow crosses to green. If you're using towels with the custom care, you would connect the green and red leads to one towel and the black and yellow leads to the other towel. And you would put the two towels on different sides of the body, or one towel on the neck and the other towel on the abdomen or feet. Remember that you should be hydrated when you treat yourself with frequency-specific microcurrent. This is one of the biggest hindrances to effective treatment. With regard to the variety of protocols, these are recommended according to your health needs and your health goals. But there is always one or two protocols that you should use regularly. One of them is the concussion protocol. Historically, it's been called the concussion protocol, but this can be misleading. The concussion protocol is good for releasing stress within the central nervous system, meaning the brain, spinal cord, sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. It's a favorite program for many people because it promotes relaxation. But it's not just that the concussion protocol feels good and it relaxes you. The concussion protocol creates a space in the body for the other protocols or frequencies to be more effective. It's like it turns down the static in the system so that the body's tissues are more receptive to treatment frequencies. There are 3 different protocols that include the concussion protocol. One is the straight concussion protocol. The second is chronic concussion. And the third is concussion with vagus. Another point to make is that you can treat yourself as much as you want. You won't overdo it with microcurrent. The intensity of the currents is close to the currents already running in your body. So you won't do any harm if you run the FSM for long periods of time, especially if you're experiencing improvement from a particular protocol. Now, having said that, the frequencies are powerful, and if you're running a protocol and you experience a worsening of a complaint, like an increase in pain or an increase in nausea or dizziness or lightheadedness, then stop the treatment right away. Be aware that the frequencies can stimulate an organ or tissues in ways that worsen symptoms. The experience will only be temporary, so it's nothing to be afraid of, and it doesn't happen often. But if it does, stop the treatment right away and either run the concussion protocol or run another protocol that you're familiar with, which you've gotten good results with, and which doesn't cause that reaction. One way to get instructions on how to operate your Inspirstar or custom care machine is the manual, the instruction manual that comes with your unit. But there are also video demonstrations on how to use the machines. You'll find videos on how to use each of the 3 Inspirstar models at the https frequencymicrocurrent.com/Inspirstar-instructions. And videos for operating the custom care are available at https://precisiondistributing.com/customcare-unit-videos. You'll find links to these web pages with the videos on this page below this video. I'd like to end this video by saying that you have in your hands a very powerful healing modality. It may take time and persistence with regular treatments, but if you stick to it, the odds are that you, like so many other people, are going to get results. So please take the time to do the treatments and give it time to work. Thanks for watching. This is Dr. Harlan Mateg.